The Boys is a show that has garnered a massive following during its first 3 seasons, and for good reason. It's a genuinely great superhero show that is a satire of the modern superhero genre as well as contemporary American politics. Rather than the cheap, mediocre, or downright bad Marvel and DC shows that feel as if they've been mass-produced in a factory, The Boys, along with Invincible, are refreshing superhero shows that demonstrate a truth: the superhero medium isn't hopeless. However, the release of Season 4 isn't without its controversy, for this season has received more flack than the previous 3, as is apparent with the Rotten Tomatoes ratings and the general sentiment online. Thus, I'm here to analyze the common criticisms whilst giving my own takes on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Spoiler for all 4 seasons up ahead, so do be warned. I'll start off guns blazing with the most common complaint I've seen. The show's gone woke. Frenchie is bisexual, Homelander calls Newman a libtard, and the show portrays conspiracy theorist right-wing Nazis as bad guys. Well, to start off, the word woke has been so abused and overused that it's lost all meaning. Anything that is remotely left-wing or has some semblance of representation is considered woke, therefore bad. The thing is, calling something woke isn't criticism, it's just an observation. Now, semantics out of the way, the main criticism I've seen is around the decision to give Frenchie a boyfriend, Colin. In my opinion, the issue isn't the fact that Frenchie is bi, as this has been established earlier in the show. Rather, the issue I have is that the relationship feels contrived. The character of Colin is barely introduced to us in this season, but it feels like there was a lot of off-screen development between these 2 characters. It's a missed opportunity that the writers could have capitalized on, as I think introducing them as strangers, developing them as lovers, and then breaking them apart as enemies across both seasons 4 and 5 would have been a far more convincing arc than showing us Frenchie and Cullen in the midst of their relationship right at the get-go at the beginning of the season, then breaking them up suddenly in the middle. To compare them to another relationship, let's look at Annie and Huey. The reason why Annie and Huey's relationship works well in the early seasons was because we got to see them meet, bond, and develop their relationship over the span of several seasons. We, as the audience, got to bond with the characters as they bonded with each other. It'd be weird to see Huey go from one season not having a girlfriend to another season suddenly dating Starlight or any other character, since we, the audience, would miss this crucial character development. Overall, I can understand the sentiment that their relationship was rushed, that being Frenchie and Colin's, but obsessing over the gay aspect of the relationship is pretty weird. Another common criticism I've heard is that the season has too much build-up and not enough action. I would generally agree with this, but the season finale shows that the writers have been cooking up a massive blast-off that leaves us, the audience, wanting more. The build-up, while relatively slow at times, was worth it, but I will say that this season did suffer from too many subplots that didn't really need to be explored. I'll admit, I don't care about the Deep's relationship problems with his octopus girlfriend or the fact that the Deep would lobotomize Sister Sage before fucking her. I think these details, while absurd and meant to show the Seven in a ridiculous light, do detract from the quality of the season. I know The Boys is known for its ridiculous and absurd subplots, especially those considering the Deep or the other members of the Seven, but this season felt particularly subplot-pilled. I don't know if that's just me or if that's just a weakness in the writing. On the contrary, a subplot I did enjoy was the one between Ryan, Butcher, and Homelander. I find Ryan to be an extremely fascinating character who gets a good amount of development in this season. His relationship with Homelander, as ambivalent as it is portrayed extremely well. Homelander is shown to be the domineering, emotionally abusive father figure who essentially grooms Ryan into becoming another him, another Homelander. We see this when he coerces Ryan to command the one Vought girl, I honestly forgot her name, to slap her producer boss over and over. I'll admit, the guy was a creep who did abuse his power over his subordinate, but that's exactly what Ryan is doing to the girl and the producer, and that's exactly what Homelander is doing to Ryan, abusing their power over people. It's clear that Homelander wants to make Ryan into another sadistic monster like him, and it seems to be working in spite of their emotionally abusive relationship. Furthermore, Homelander's unpredictability and fits of rage are a perfect example of emotional abuse. The abuser, Homelander, uses his authority and power to domineer over the victim, Ryan, and traumatize him from stepping out of bounds without needing to lift a finger or hurt him physically. This is best seen when he's breaking down, telling Ryan, "I give you everything, I have given you everything, and yet you still go to Butcher." His envy of Butcher for being another father figure for Ryan also plays into Homelander's narcissism. He turns his love for Ryan, or quote-unquote love, about himself. He makes it about himself because that's the only person he really cares about, himself. So I really do appreciate how Homelander is characterized in these scenes along with Ryan. Tangent aside, another major weakness in this season was Starlight's character. I know I glazed her relationship with Huey earlier, but I will admit that her writing was weak this season. The main issues with Starlight come down to two things: Starlight losing her powers and then Starlight blaming Huey for being assaulted by the shape-shifting soup. Her powers are discarded due to a contrived identity crisis, which could have been interesting if it actually led anywhere. If Starlight actually figured out who she was and was able to use her powers in a critical moment, which I guess it does happen, but it's not like her identity crisis is really resolved. It's just that she lost her powers because, well, the writers wanted her to lose her powers. Then she gains them back when it's convenient. It doesn't feel well written. The only glimpse we really get at her own identity crisis is when the shifter, or the shape-shifting soup, challenges her holier-than-thou attitude while she's kidnapped, which was an interesting scene and was pretty well written, but we don't see it really evolve from there. Speaking of the shifter, the fact that Starlight blamed Huey for being sexually assaulted over and over again and taking it personally, I think is flat out gross. I can understand her feeling hurt, but to take it out on Huey is completely unfair because he was violated. He was raped by someone under the guise that this person was his partner, his girlfriend, whom he loved and trusted very much. So with that in mind, it's ridiculous for Huey to be framed as the bad guy when he was just as much of a victim as Starlight, who was kidnapped and had her identity stolen to assassinate the president and marry and sleep with her boyfriend. So I do think that was another misstep in her writing. Now, onto a major part of this season that I think a lot of people really enjoyed, A-Train. Everybody loves A-Train now, and for good reason. The reason why we love A-Train is because we see him hit rock bottom. He's nearly sexually assaulted by proxy by Homelander the Deep, he's reluctant to go with Homelander and Sister Sage's plans of murdering civilians, and he's abandoned by his family. He really has nowhere else to turn in this season other than to come to the light and become a genuine hero, as his last resort to, in his own words, no longer hate himself. We see the resistance, we see the struggles that A-Train has gone through in every season, and we've even seen tidbits of his redemption before, such as him killing Blue Hawk for his outburst. With all of this in mind, it's a cathartic release to finally see A-Train redeem himself, to see this almost irredeemable monster from Season 1 become a genuine hero who saves his first real person, who actually joins the boys and becomes a part of the resistance against Homelander and the Seven. On to the season finale. I think that the season finale was nothing short of amazing. It's action-packed, it's dramatic, it's intense, it's well written, there are high stakes, and it leaves us on a cliffhanger that gives the audience a sense of genuine dread for the future of our characters. How will Huey, Frenchie, Kamiko, and MM break free from Vought and the US government's Gestapo-style arrests? How will Butcher go about killing Homelander? How will this battle ensue? Who will Ryan choose in the end between Homelander and Butcher? What are the implications of the United States becoming a totalitarian, souped-up police state? All of these questions are going to be left unresolved for at least another year or two, which sucks, but at least this builds hype for the next season, and I think this season ended off on a really great note. Overall, Season 4 of The Boys has its ups and downs, from the multitude of subplots that can sometimes detract from the overarching story, to the character writing that's hit and miss. It's no wonder this season was controversial. However, I still think it's a strong season that builds up immensely for the show's finale. Thank you for watching and see you later.